categorize the data, which web analytics professionals typically study. And Praveen already spoke of the common tools. There's WebTrends, Omniture, Google Analytics, and Praveen was just telling me some time back that WebTrends is a product which is quite in the league of Omniture when it comes to percentage, market share, etc. Right?
So the main reason of popularity of WebTrends is that all the other analytics software, what they do is they store your data on their servers. So in case of Omniture or in Google Analytics, the data is stored at the server of Omniture or probably on server of Google. But when you use WebTrends, what happens is that they use server log files to analyze the data. So log files are always in your control. You don't have to share it with somebody else. So what I have seen here is that many of the financial institutions like banks, they use WebTrends because of the data security. That's the reason why WebTrends is as popular as Omniture.
Okay. Right. And this is just statistic of the top 500 online retailers, and you'll see that pretty much it is a lot of the top online retailers are using analytics package, and at least 24% in fact use at least two solutions on their site to track data, right? And when it's two solutions, typically I would imagine one of them is Google Analytics because it's free, and maybe they just want to maybe cross check it with a paid product, or sometimes, as you said, WebTrends gives a log based.
So it's always beneficial to have two web analytics softwares installed on your website just to cross check the data, and secondly, there are times when there is some problem on the site and one web analytics is not reporting it properly. So you can always rely back on the second one for the data. So if you are running an e-commerce portal and because of some malfunctioning of the code, Google Analytics is not tracking the transactions, you can always roll back on Yahoo Analytics and see the data is getting tracked properly or not. So it's always beneficial to have two.
Cool. So here are some metrics. We'll actually move on to the some important things that you should keep in mind when it comes to metrics. So Praveen, so maybe Learning Catalyst is a new business, right? So would average time on the site and depth of visit, would these be the main metrics for someone? I'm not referring to a large bank, etc., where obviously there'll be a lot more things you want to track, but for any new business who has a new site, what are the key things that you have to watch out for?
So let's take Learning Catalyst would have information about the course details which they have, So for business like Learning Catalyst, the major KPIs to watch would be the depth of the visit, how many pages a particular person is visiting. Secondly, what they should look at is that so KPIs are basically the key performance indicators, or let's say your business objective which you want to measure, or which against which you measure your success. So these before implementing a web analytics software, you need to clearly identify what are your business objectives. What do you want to achieve from after installing that particular web analytics software? Then, depending on the business, your KPIs, we need to look at the different metrics which are available in the web analytics software. So for a business like Learning Catalyst, wherein there is quite a lot of reading material available, which would so basically, if there are quite a lot of case studies which are there for the people to go and read about. So depth of the visit would be the most important factor. How many pages people are visiting. This will show that the content which is there on the website is good enough to hold the customer on the site. Second thing which they should look into is the average time spent on the page. So more the average time spent means that people are spending time reading out the entire article or the case study which is there on the website. Second, point which they should measure is that bounce rate should be as low as possible, because it's a content based website wherein people don't have to perform much actions but to read. Bounce rate should be less, so that and bounce rate should be less, and secondly, people should be able to find the content easily. They don't have to look in for the content, and then when they don't find it, they exit the site. So the readily availability of the content is most important, which can be identified through these internal site search which is there, wherein if somebody is searching for a content, you can track the internal site search on your website as well.
Okay.
And find out.
Right.
So page view per visit is depth of the visit is page views per visit.
Right.
So how many page views a visit is generating, bounce rate, average time spent on the site are major 3 KPIs which are most important for Learning Catalyst.
Right. And I can tell you from a personal experience that when we started spending on search engine marketing and actual, doing some media buying, that's when you really look at these a lot more, carefully.
Yeah. So you might be doing some banner advertising or a search marketing activity, and the traffic which is coming onto your website is not a quality traffic, and it's bouncing back. So you might want to stop spend on those particular marketing activities. So based on these success metrics, you can actually see the performance of a particular marketing activity and decide if you want to put more money into it or you want to stop that activity.
Right. Yeah, and so typically, from our experience, and Praveen would agree with me that people usually stop at setting up analytics, for their website, and they typically ask some tech guy to, do it for them, put that piece of code. But after that, that's when the real action starts, right? So some very relevant analysis can be done after setup, and Praveen just spoke about the fact that you can really monitor and fine tune your marketing activities. And these are some examples of the sources of traffic today, right? Search is extremely important. Taking the example of Learning Catalyst, more than half of our traffic is from search, natural results, and maybe 10-15% is from SEM. Apart from that, as you get more popular and you have more online PR set in, then you have more referrals, and those kind of things. And direct type-ins become later on for a mature business, that becomes an important element. But all of these you can compare how each one of them are doing, right, with respect to each other, and individually also in terms of their KPIs, right? So yeah, for a typical search engine marketing campaign, what I'd like to ask you, Praveen, is that for e-commerce campaigns, it's easy to understand that you can you have ROIs, and you know what each transaction, how many visits has resulted to one transaction. But for any other how would this change for a non-e-commerce kind of a scenario?
So what a web analytics software typically provide us is a function called as goal. So you can set up goals on your website. So let's take an example of Learning Catalyst. So people who want to join in the webinar, they must go on to the website and register. They should fill in a form, which takes their details, and next time whenever any webinar is happening, they will shoot an email. So it's like a registration form which you need to fill in. So when I'm doing a search engine marketing campaign for Learning Catalyst, my major objective would be to get as many registrations as possible for a particular webinar. So I can set up goals in my Google Analytics, for example. I can set up goals, and then I can see that my a particular marketing activity which I am doing is getting me that that goals or not. If I'm getting the conversion numbers, the goals are getting recorded in Google Analytics, then I can see that okay, this marketing activity has been successful. if I am not getting any conversion numbers, then I would probably try and see what is going wrong with this particular thing, and I can take corrective actions.
So the important point being that a goal need not be just a transaction.
Yeah.
It could be anything depending on your business. You can define.
It can be a view of key page view as well. It can be time spent on the website. It can be a sign up for a emailer, newsletter. It can be anything which you want to track. All the actions can be tracked on your website.
That's where the definition of KPI becomes important, and then you decide what your goals are, right? Right. Apart from SCM, the SEO campaign, and this from my experience, I know that very few SEO professionals actually go to the analytics page, as opposed to maybe because you actually pay. SCM guys are pressurized by their managers to actually go to analytics and check out what's happening. But even for SEO guys, it helps you to identify keywords which you have to work on, firstly. And there is some synergy between SCM and SEO. If you think that you're doing well on SEO, you need not.
You might not.
Any other areas? Is it something which?
So what Web Analytics does is that it gives you all the organic keywords which are generating traffic for your website. So at times it happens is that you find a keyword which you had never thought of, would be important for your SEO team to work on. So what usually happens in an SEO process is that SEO team decides on certain 10-15 set of keywords, and they start optimizing their website on that. But if they don't really check the Web Analytics software, there might be some surprise keywords as well which are driving traffic to your website and which you had never focused upon. So you can always take that particular keyword, start optimizing on that, so that you get more and more visits from that particular keyword. And secondly, usually what happens is that on a website, the traffic is more from branded keywords. So you give a SEO project to some agency, and they say that, okay, we increase your traffic by this much % organic traffic. But when Web Analytics software will always tell you that the traffic is coming from branded keywords or are from the generic keywords which are more important to your business, because on branded terms it's always easy to get your ranking. So it's always help you to check the performance of your SEO agency as well, if they're doing well or not.
Right. Keep a tab on your agency, right? So moving ahead, and Praveen in fact spoke about internal search optimization, and it's an area which your analytics function can help to track, right? What people are searching for.
Basically, what we see today is that every website has an internal search bar placed on the website. So all the analytics softwares, be it WebTrends, Omniture, or Google Analytics, they all track that particular internal search query on your website. So what it helps basically is to refine your content. If let's say somebody is coming on Learning Catalyst website and they are searching for Web Analytics software tutorials, and the search result is not giving them the desired links to that particular section of the website, then they might, Learning Catalyst guys might need to change the content, place it properly. And also what it tells you that how many people searched and then move on to a next page, or how many people searched and then they exited the site. So it makes you, it makes an impact on your website performance basically, if you can identify the search queries, and based on that you can refine your content on the website. It will create a better user experience.